Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Back with us on the program, Lora Ann Young. Holidays bring joy to millions of families who celebrate with their parents. It can be especially painful for people who've recently lost a mother or father. Our guest, as mentioned on This Week in America, Lora Ann Young, understands the challenges these grown children face. In her new book, The Lost Parent Club, she shares her story and ways to cope in a positive way with the hurdles often experienced with the unexpected passing of a parent while learning to walk alongside your surviving parent. The book, The Lost Parent Club, is a survival guide for preparing for and working through the first year of loss. Back with us on the program, Lora Ann Young. Lora, great to have you back with us on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Great, Rick. Thanks for having me.
It is such an important topic, and one that you went through is dealing with, especially that first year, and dealing with a lost parent. And you talk about the anticipation, the emotions you go through, almost overwhelming to the point that it's debilitating during this time of year.
Yeah, that's very true, Rick. You know, what I experienced is very similar to what I'm finding a lot of the readers have also gone through as well. You know, many of them approach me at the different events that I'm doing these days, and, you know, they have a lot of the same stories. Some of them have challenges getting out of bed, you know, as they know that the different stores are decorating for the holidays and playing the holiday music. You know, those all serve as really hard reminders, I think, to many people going through it, that this is just a really difficult time that they've got to learn how to manage.
The book is called The Lost Parent Club. The website is very simple, thelostparentclub.com. The book is available at Amazon, at Barnes & Noble. Information you can link on directly to Lora's website at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. You talk about that first year and the first that happened during the course of those 12 months. And specifically, we're talking about Thanksgiving. We're talking about Christmas. Even New Year's Eve can bring back memories. Do you find for some people they're sort of like either they don't have a plan going into the holidays or they'd almost like to avoid them for the first year? How do you handle that?
You know, that's a very common situation. When you have a major loss like that, just the amount of dread that you build up just internally going into those months and going into those couple of weeks before the actual day are just an absolute dread. And, you know, what I found is that there's just a couple of simple things that people can do in order to manage their way through it. And, you know, because if you don't have a plan, unfortunately what happens is there's no one there to keep you accountable. So that makes it to where you can stay in bed all day and just have a miserable time. And so I came up with a couple of things that really helped me. And, you know, having gone through it myself, I know that the first couple of holidays that I experienced, I didn't do well. And so I put a plan in place, and it really has helped. And so, you know, the first thing is just to have a simple plan. Make sure that you have a couple of things that you need to do that day to get you out of bed and get you out of the house. But I think more importantly, it's about making sure that you involve others. You know, something as simple as having someone to go to lunch with will help you to be accountable, to get up, to get dressed, to get out of the house. You know, and then there's the part where, you know, you're also going to be feeling like you need to do something to recognize the person that you've lost. And so my suggestion for that would be just make sure that it's not something that you recognize them the entire day. Instead, just plan a window of time where you can recognize them, spend time with family, tell great stories about their past, and, you know, really celebrate their life as a family. And I think that if you do that, then you can at least make sure that you can manage through it successfully.
Our guest on This Week in America, Lora Ann Young. Her book is called The Lost Parent Club. It's available all across the country. Information at the website, thelostparentclub.com. Information you can link on directly to Lora's website by going to thisweekinamerica.us. Let's talk first of all about Thanksgiving. And you mentioned in the book you really couldn't do what you traditionally would have done with the family on Thanksgiving. What that first year, I believe you decided just to eat out. Let's go find a place to eat and let's celebrate, but let's do it in a different way.
Sure. You know, when we talked about it as a family, we really felt like, you know, if we were to get together as a family, either at my parents' house or at my sister's, that was so much like what we had done previous years that just the feeling of having that massive void would be more than what any of us were really willing to handle. So, we took the time to talk about it and to determine what new tradition can we do that would sort of take the pressure off of everybody. And so we came up with the great idea of finding a restaurant in the area that served like country dinners, that they were doing a big Thanksgiving feast. And so the 8 of us made a reservation, and we went to dinner at this really cute restaurant. And, Rick, that's what we've done every year since then. And, I think this year we're finally going to get back to the regular tradition of everyone getting together now that all the kids are, raised and moving on as well. And so, but that really did help us get through the difficult years.
And I believe that first Christmas, you changed the locations. I think they had family Christmas at your house that year?
Yeah, we did. Normally that was at my sister's, and so to change things up a little bit, we had it at my house instead, and we also invited additional, friends over that didn't have people to spend the holidays with. So we just kept it interesting and kept everything fresh that year.
How difficult is it to balance your feelings as you go into the holiday, and in your case, you lost your mother, your dad was still living, and balance your feeling, your siblings' feelings, against those of your children who it's a normal Christmas for them. Obviously, there's a great loss, but it's Christmas for them that they would like to celebrate, and for your father who is still with the family. How difficult is it to balance that?
It can be challenging, but I think the most important thing is the communication piece. My sister, at the time that my mom passed, her kids were young, and so we still wanted to do the traditional Christmas tree, Christmas morning, those types of things to keep things pretty routine for them. But then to take the sting out of the time, we just changed the household. And, I think everybody goes into the holidays with a different expectation. And so because everyone during that time is going through the same emotional challenges, I think that the more families can talk through what their individual expectations are, the better chance they have of really fulfilling everybody's needs and getting through the holidays successfully.
Got about a minute left in the program. The book is called The Lost Parent Club. TheLostParentClub.com is the website. Lora Ann Young, our guest on the program. We talked about this in the other program, and if you go to our YouTube channel at the website thisweekinamerica.us, you'll see the full interview that we did with Lora in talking about the book. Sometimes are we our own worst enemy? We have this preconceived idea of what it's going to be. We have this anticipation. And I think you said the last time, sometimes it's actually worse than what the event is going to be. Maybe you can actually handle the event better than the buildup.
Absolutely, and that's a huge piece, Rick. I think that we start in our mind creating the scenarios of what we don't want it to be and how we are, dreading the activities of that day. And, what I've learned is that if you can just put a simple plan together and involve other people, it really does take the pressure off. It allows you to have time to spend time with friends and family, recognize the person that's passed, but, move through it in a much more successful, manner than I think we sometimes build it up to be.
I think two key words that will come out of our discussion with Lora, plan and communication. These are really two of the keys that will help you and your family and your surviving parent get through the first holidays.
It sure is. And I think that just remembering that everyone in your family is going through the same loss and everybody deals with it differently, so the communication piece is critical, and I think a plan allows you to hold yourself accountable during those days.
Lora Ann Young, our guest on This Week in America. The book is called The Lost Parent Club. It deals with all and great resources, by the way, in the book as well. It's her firsthand journey. In the beginning, I said it's a survival guide. It really is. The Lost Parent Club. The website is thelostparentclub.com. We'll have Lora back in the program. Lora, thank you for joining us on This Week in America. Great to have you back with us on the program. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You're listening to This Week in America. Website thisweekinamerica.us.